user. Here we have to read one number from user and then we have to print next number. So let's open idle and then read. Let's give a num1. We have to read integer from user and then print next number. So num1 plus 1 will be next number. Copy your code and then paste it here. Okay, next problem. Okay, here let's read the given part. Here there are 3 students. First one is 5th year student and he solves tasks strictly in order. First, he solves first problem and the second problem and so on until the last. About the 3rd year student, he solves problem in reverse order. The first, the last, and then the next problem, and the last he will solve first problem. And about the freshman, he solves from the simplest one. Like he solves first 30 minutes problem and then the first problem and the last problem. So here you can see the example. 5th year student solves with this duration and this one is 3rd year student's duration and this is freshman's. So we have to find the fastest one. If freshman finishes fastest and we have to print 1. So this is actually given part is complex but solution is very simple because in this order always freshman will solve the fastest. So we have to only type print because always freshman will win all of for 5th grade student and 3rd grade student. So you just need to print 1, that's all. Okay, next problem. Next problem is больше-меньше. Here we have to compare first number and second number. And if you recognize here, we have to read 2 numbers in 2 lines. We don't have to read 2 numbers in 1 line. So let's open idle again. Num1 int input. Next, num2 int input. In order to compare, we need if. So if num1 is greater than num2, we have to print comparison sign with quotation mark. Here in order to print symbol and string, we have to use quotation mark. But if we need to print any number, we don't need it. So we will print this sign and elif. Elif means else if. So elif, here we need one more condition. If num1 is less than num2, we have to print this sign and else. Else means we have actually 3 conditions related to these 2 numbers. Number 1 can be bigger than number 2, or number 1 can be less than number 2, else means if they are equal. If they are equal, we have to print equal sign. And about this part, we call this part as the indent. And here we have to take indent after here if, and sometimes if we use 4 cycles, loops, we use these 2 dots, and after this we need indentation here, indentation, because it's inside of this condition. If it's correct, it will do this function. And if it's correct, number 1 is less than number 2, we will print this one. So this means this line code is inside of this code, previous line code. So you have to take indent here. Okay, let's copy this code. Copy and paste it here. Send it. Okay, next орешки. Here squirrel collects nuts, and squirrel puts nuts as a row and column. And the third number is nut number that needs in winter. So if it's enough, we have to print yes. For example, here squirrel collects nuts with 4 columns and 5 rows. It means squirrel collected 20 nuts, but squirrel needs 21 nuts in winter, so it's not enough. So we have to print no. So let's open idle again. So first we need to read 3 numbers in one line: row, column, and needs map. In order to read more than one variable or more than one number, we have to use map. Okay, and then we have to check if we have to calculate total collected nut number. So we have to multiply row by column, and if it's greater than or equal to needs, it means it's enough. So we have to print yes. Else we have to print no. Okay, I'll copy this one. So make sure, let me copy this one here. If it's capital letters, you have to use capital letters. If I write here yes, it will not accept our code. It won't accept. So double check your output letters. If it's capital, you have to use capital letters. Okay, let's send it this one. Next problem, Enya. Here we have to read 3 numbers in one line, and we need multiplication of these 3 numbers, and we have to multiply this number by 2 again. So we need 3 numbers. Let me give A, B, C. And we need multiplication. So star sign represents multiplication. So A times B times C times 2. Let me copy, paste it here. Let's check it. Accepted. Okay,